And that's so sad. KKK. Young, I got old cash, spazzing on they ass. I got Prada on my ass. Got my lab one mad, poppin' like a damn tag. Shopping on they ass. I just bought it.
Welcome back, guys, to The Influence. We are taking you on a journey like no other. There's 3 lives, 3 perspectives, and 1 common goal: to prove that disagreement does not have to mean division. Again, this is The Influence, and today we are tackling a really heavy topic: the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the rise of political violence in America. It's raw, it's real, and it's a conversation we believe really needs to happen right now. So welcome, guys. We have Miles, we have Chris, we have Eric, and my name is Robin. I'm going to be moderating and narrating today's episode. So I'm just going to kind of jump right into it, guys, all right? And Miles, I'm going to start with you. Just how did you react when you heard about Charlie Kirk's assassination?
Yeah, so I was at work when I heard about it, just coming off lunch break. You know, I started seeing all the the banners come across the phone, all the notifications and stuff. And, at first I'm thinking, some bullshit or something. And then, but you keep seeing it and you click on one of them and you find out it's real, and it's like, who would shoot this guy? And immediately in my mind, I go straight to, it's somebody from the left. It's got to be somebody from the left because all the political assassinations lately or attempts, stuff like that. But, it just pattern recognition, I'm seeing that a lot and it's scary out there. But that's where I was.
All right, Chris, Eric, what were your guys' reactions? Do you think that this was politically motivated, racially motivated, or something else entirely?
Well, first off, when I first heard about it, I didn't know who the guy was. So,
right.
I had no reaction to it until I started seeing the videos where it came across Charlie Kirk. And when you don't know somebody, immediately you start hearing people talking about it. So, just like social media, it came fast. So then we had a chance to see the video, which I don't condone, but that's just that's the world we live in as far as when something happens that's graphic like that, it's on camera, for people to see for years to come. But I didn't have no reaction to it because I didn't know who he was. Do I think it was racially motivated at first? I'm looking at it like, not if it's in Utah. If it's in Utah, ain't nowhere in the world, no black person gonna drive to no Utah to kill nobody that we really, that I can speak highly on. My demographic that I know statistically, maybe a younger generation know, but people my age didn't know who Charlie Kirk was, from my culture. So politically motivated, I told Miles this, in the past, everything seems like, it's the left. It's like, nah, everything can't be the left. This was a white man. It was a white kid who shot a white man. So you can say it's from the left. You can say there's somebody that looks just like you, somebody that you can identify with, and everything can't be pushed on politics. This is something that somebody that you said something or he did, or something that you caused pain that he didn't like and he caused harm. Do I condone it? No, but I can't let it seem like it's just from the left. Yeah.
Eric, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I really didn't have any thoughts about it. Like I said, I didn't even know what was going on. I'm just really grasping the idea, Oh, supposed to be that. My bad. But so it's like a thing where I was oblivious to it all. So, I'm just doing the research, just because, that's what we doing. So I don't have no feelings or no thoughts behind it.
Yeah, and it's perfectly all right to not have any thoughts or opinions, especially when you don't even know the person.
Yeah.
And we all agree that that kind of murder is not okay, right? But this kind of debate does quickly get tangled in race. Chris, you said that white America often demands empathy for its tragedies, but it doesn't show the same when Black Americans are killed. Can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say this. For years, we've seen things like this. So I think this was the first time in my lifetime that, you know, a white culture had a chance to experience the pain that we experienced for years, or something that they want somebody to sympathize for, you know. And when things happen, you know, we reach out, you know, and I think Miles spoke on, you know, we burn cities. That's not the reason why. It's really more so, you know, we just want attention to say, hey, man, this stuff is really happening to us. You know, people are dying every day, and we just want America to do something about it, whether it's children, whether it's a culture thing. So when something happened to us, we see memes, or we see our race getting mocked, like with the George Floyd situation. You know, that causes pain, being a black man, to see a father or a son, and a mother has to see somebody, you know, with their knee to somebody's neck. And even though you're dealing with that burden, now you go turn on the internet, and now a whole nation or a whole culture, people see people mocking it. You know, you got people with flags behind with their knees and somebody neck. That's not good. You know, we've been seeing this so long, whether it's with the police, whether it's with race, you know, we just been seeing it. So you asking for sympathy and empathy, and we like, we don't want nothing like that to happen to nobody. But then in the meantime, it's like, well, how come you can't be sympathetic when things like that happen to our culture or to somebody else's culture? It's just, oh, move on with it. And the Trayvon Martin situation, a young kid died. Then you telling the world, oh, y'all shouldn't be wearing hoodies at night. Hey, that's a kid that just died right there, you know. So that's what I mean by it. That's pretty much that, and that's what I mean when I say, you know, it just seemed like America, just a certain demographic just doesn't show that same sympathy and empathy when something happens to another race or somebody that doesn't look like them.
Nice. Miles, what are your thoughts?
It's awkward that you say that, because didn't there, like, I think today a kid from the University of Texas just got expelled. Young black kid just got expelled because he went up at a Charlie Kirk vigil and started doing this spraying from the neck stuff. So you talking about the white culture putting knee on the neck and stuff, making memes or whatever. I think that stuff's bad. I don't think we should be celebrating anybody's death. Nobody should. But to say it's just one-sided, one race doing it, or that just happened. I mean, we just saw that.
So Miles, but what do you think about when Chris mentioned that, from his perspective, this has been going on for years? You know, it wasn't just George Floyd, it was others. And his perspective that this was kind of like, not the only, but one of the very few that the white, you could say, has experienced. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I do think all that police brutality is wrong. But, you know, when you go back and look at a lot of the situations and stuff, the young man that got shot in the back in South Carolina, that was wrong. You know, Trayvon Martin, you know, I don't know the whole story behind that. I'd heard, you know, both ways. Dude just defend himself, shot the kid. I don't know a whole lot about that. I do know that, you know, with the George Floyd thing, they say he didn't die because of the knee on the neck. Now, I don't know. I'm sure that, you know, raised his heart rate and put a heart attack or whatever on him, you know. Didn't do himself any favors, right? But we don't want to see anybody get hurt. But we can't say that they were the same person, right? George Floyd put a gun up to a pregnant woman's stomach. And Charlie Kirk was just talking about political stuff, cultural stuff, free speech, and he got shot for his speech, right? It isn't like George Floyd was out there trying to bring people to Christianity. It wasn't like he was out there trying to do stuff like Charlie Kirk was. So you can't compare those two. Do I think it's still wrong? Yeah, 100% I think it's wrong. But you can't compare those two.
So this is the problem with that. The thing is that when George Floyd was murdered by the police, he did not put a gun to a woman's stomach at that point in time. So this is my thing. You can't bring up things that a person has done in their life and try to justify what's happening to them in the present. And that's the problem. Every time something happens to one of us, they always got to bring up the history, something that happened years ago, yesterday. We're talking about the right now and what the white person or that cop did to one of ours. And it's always, they made in the media and white society paint the picture that it was our fault that we was in that position. But when it happens to you guys, it's not the same. It's like, oh, woe is me. They were so innocent. It's like when they look at a police ride up and they see a 15-year-old white boy versus a 15-year-old black boy, they look at them differently. They look at that 15-year-old white boy as a 15-year-old white boy, a child. When they look at a 15-year-old black child, they look at them as a grown man. And it's been like that for too long. So it's like we're not comparing, you know what I'm saying, for what Charlie Kirk got killed for, because it could be a numerous reasons. Because, you know, when I see the video and they going around asking his own people and they don't have no sympathy and they say he got what he deserved, you know what I'm saying? This is not our people saying this. So it can't be a racist thing. It's a thing where it's a lot of stuff you hear him talking about church things and the God and Jesus, but then you also hear him talk about racial things. He talk about, if I see a black pilot, I'm going the other way. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that you can, so, you know, look at that. So it's like he got a lot of topics that he speak about. So you don't know what thing that he said that he hurt whoever that tried to kill him, because he said a lot of things.
Right. So it's hard to, you know, you don't know the implications of what his words had on everybody in the world. No one can. That's impossible to know, right? And again, with George Floyd, there's not a lot of information out there about him as a person besides what is pulled out from different things. I will say for the pregnant lady that was debunked, she posted it after the fact, and it was from Madrid. It was not from that time. In addition to your claims about Kirk, I think we did talk about this. There was a whole video, like his words again were not okay. Just wanted to say that. However, the context was not that if I see a black pilot, I'm running away. It was in the context of a specific, I'm not going to forget now, a specific person who was already criticizing him, and he was talking not so much about the race, but about if a person was not properly skilled, whether black or white or Asian. And that was the context of it. Still, it said take the words away, but just wanted to provide some other information around it for everybody.
But you see other things where you say that black women weren't qualified, and you know, it's just like, it's not just that one thing. And that's why I say if it was just one thing, it'd be different. But when you keep on pulling up videos, and this is this man talking, sitting on this chair, having this audience, and he's saying these things. So it's like, it's not like,
He has a large audience.
Yeah, it's not like misinformation, or this is what he's saying out of his mouth. So whether the context of why he's saying it, he's still saying it.
He's still saying it, but however, the context and the roots of it are still important. But I see where you're coming from on that. So Miles, just kind of sum it up here. You're saying it's not so much race, but ideology. Kind of violence from the far left movements, like the riots and looting, is not necessarily helping the black communities. Eric, I know we kind of mentioned this, that that you believe that the MAGA supporters kind of blindly follow Trump and ignore the whole concept of racism, right? And Chris, you definitely brightened that situation about George Floyd and the protests around that and the lack of empathy and double standards. But again, we'll bring it back. We all agree that in any situation, being murdered for what you say is not right.
You hungry, I want them hungry.